Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today we're going to go over a couple of dev blogs that have come out over the past couple of days. Normally these dev blogs get released on Thursday, but we had two get released on like Tuesday and Wednesday, and then another one today. So we're going to go ahead and go through it. I will be reading straight from the articles, which you can find in the link down below if you wish to read along as I read aloud. Any relevant artwork or images will be posted up on screen as we go through it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We will read in the order that they came out. There is one that I really don't need to read from the dev blog. It's simply they're working on a better camera angle for combat. I don't know exactly what that means. The camera right now in combat, for me at least, works most of the time. It's a little buggy now and then, but honestly, it's not a very big issue. And really, the camera placement doesn't matter too much, unless they're talking about the glitch we get sometimes when we're doing our very close, like we're talking about boarding range close drive-bys on ships, where sometimes when you're looking down at the waterline of the ship, for whatever reason, the camera, or I guess it's really the aiming system, freaks out, and your guns go basically up to their max elevation. You shoot almost straight up into the air and only hit their superstructure instead of hitting the armor belt that you were aiming at. If that's the case, I'm very glad they're looking to fix that. But other than that, I mean, I guess if they can find a more pleasurable camera angle for the eye, okay, but to me, not a huge deal. But anyway, so the next dev blog, which was released on the 28th, ST 10.3 changes to test ships. We adjusted the parameters of some ships based on testing results. The changes will be applied to Dutch cruisers, the Napoli, the Druid, the Constellation, and some other ships. So the Napoli, which is the Tier 10 Italian cruiser, we don't know what this is coming out for yet. Coal Steer Free XP ship. We don't know. It's basically an Italian almost super cruiser. Or I guess you could kind of call it a super cruiser. But anyway, Sigma parameters increased from 1.9 to 2.05. Secondary battery parameters were changed. 152mm guns reload time reduced from 8 to 7.2 seconds. 90mm guns reload time reduced from 3.7 to 3.2 seconds. Their accuracy has been improved. The secondary battery of the Napoli will be one of the most accurate in the game. Inner concept, Napoli is an armored cruiser with decent concealment, powerful main battery guns, as well as an accurate secondary battery, which has a long range for her class and is equipped with sap shells. As the first test stages showed that her secondaries were not as powerful as we had planned, we adjusted their parameters accordingly. These changes will stronger emphasize the concept of Napoli as a cruiser with an effective secondary battery. Where have we heard that before, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, Siegfried, yeah, you over there. What in the world? I don't understand this. Siegfried, this was supposed to be Siegfried. Actually, it was supposed to be a Gears thing, then it became Siegfried's thing. And Siegfried was a great secondary cruiser. And you should be watching some Siegfried B-roll right now if I manage to grab it during my recording session. Siegfried was supposed to be a good secondary cruiser, and she was. She was fantastic for it. Her secondaries were basically, well, they actually were the same as her concealment range, which was great for dealing with DDs in a cruiser that only has 6 guns. Now, they are 15-inch guns. They are very accurate 15-inch guns, but when the rework came out, as we all know, her secondaries were ripped away from us, and you can't even build into them anymore on the Siegfried. I don't understand. And when this was brought up on stream and other dialogue with Wargaming, the common response was that Siegfried has other characteristics to her that will make sure she still performs well, which is her main battery guns, which is about the only thing you can build into in the Siegfried right now. And yes, her main battery guns are excellent. She has the most accurate 15-inch main battery guns in the game, and they freaking hurt when they connect. But that is not why a bunch of people grinded the Siegfried. Many people that I know that grinded out the Research Bureau points to get the Siegfried got her because she was an awesome secondary cruiser. And now we can't even build into that anymore. And this is a Research Bureau ship. People regrinded lines 5, 6, 7 times to get the Siegfried. And it's not what they grinded for now. and we don't know if they're planning on changing it yet. From what we've heard before from Wargaming, it sounds like no. But then the Napoli comes out, or Napoli, however you say it, and now she has the best secondary accuracy in the game! In the game! More accurate than the American battleships, more accurate than the German battleships. What? And she gets SAP secondaries, which means there's going to be some really good secondaries. So, I mean, I'm excited for this ship, but I am annoyed at its existence because of what happened to Siegfried. And it's just one of those, why? We had a good secondary cruiser. I'm not against having more good secondary cruisers. It's just, why can't we have Siegfried back? Like, just, And I know I normally read through it before I get into my opinion, but guys, that's just a little rant I had to go on for that. It just doesn't make sense in my mind why we can't have Siegfried, but we can get Napoli. Like, Napoli has other characteristics that help her out. She has some of the best armor for Tier 10 cruisers. She's actually one of the few Tier 10 cruisers that 457mm guns can overmatch almost every angle on her. She got that going for her. Oh, she's an Italian cruiser that gets HE on her main battery guns because her secondaries have SAP, so I guess you can't have both SAP main battery guns and SAP secondaries, but we will see. So, moving on now. Druid, the Tier 10 British destroyer. Detectability range by sea increased from 8.1 to 8.4 kilometers. Other detectability ranges were increased accordingly. Constellation, this is the Tier 8 Lexington battle cruiser. Sigma parameters were increased from 1.7 to 1.9, so she's getting some more accurate guns. And these are 16-inch guns at Tier 8. Borodino. Oh no, it's alive. Oh no. Main battery reload time increased from 27 to 28 seconds. If you don't know what the Borodino is, if you guys thought Kremlin when it came out was Russian bias, wait till the Borodino comes out. Like, this is seriously a bonkers ship if it's still the same ship that we saw so long ago. This ship's been in dev hell since the announcement of the Soviet battleship line. Weimar, the Tier 7 German cruiser. Main battery reload time was increased from 6.5 to 7 seconds. Main battery firing range was increased from 13.3 to 14 kilometers. The viewing range reduced from 23.94 to 19.2 kilometers. Weimar is the Tier 7, well, Mainz. That's just better than Mainz. And it seems like she's got not necessarily a nerf, but it seems like a bit of change to her so far. Tier 7 Yukon, restoration of non-citadel damage reduced from 75% to 60%. This is the Monarch. This is the Commonwealth Monarch that's been dropped down to Tier 7 instead of Tier 8. Interesting. Alright, the Issei, which is the hybrid battleship, Japanese battleship. Torpedo bomber parameters were changed. Cruise speed reduced from 135 to 122 knots. Number of hit points increased from 1670 to 1820. The Tier 5 British BB, the Agincourt. Secondary battery parameters were changed. 152mm reload time was reduced from 4.5 to 4 seconds. 76mm gun reload time was reduced from 3 to 2.7 seconds. So the Agincourt, if you don't know, a little while ago they came out and announced that Agincourt is now going to be like a god tier secondary BB at Tier 5. So good, more fun secondary battleships coming with the Agincourt, and it looks like her reload time is going to be even better, which I'm quite excited for that. Alright. With the release of Update 10.4, the following changes will come into effect. The Borodino main battery reload time increased from 28 to 30 seconds. Borodino will be tested first with 2 different settings of main battery reload time. First, we're going to collect the information about how the ship statistics will be affected by the reload time increased to 28 seconds. Then, with the release of 10.4, test Borodino with 30-second reload time. After that, we are planning to choose optimal parameters based on the received results. Constellation viewing range increased from 24.06 to 25.25 kilometers. Tiger 59. The detection range of the surveillance radar consumables was reduced from 10 to 9 kilometers. Druid specialized repair team consumable has been replaced with the repair party consumable, which is standard for British destroyers. Elbing, the Tier 10 German DD for the new DD line split. Main battery reload time reduced from 7.5 to 7.1 seconds. Dutch cruisers updated the airstrike parameters. Tier 4 De Ruyter. Main battery firing range without the gunfire control system module reduced from 13.8 to 12.5 kilometers. American Cruiser Congress Tier 8 main battery firing range reduced from 19 to 17.5 kilometers. Main battery reload time increased from 20 to 22 seconds. Number of hit points reduced from 60,000 to 51,150. Please note that all information in the dev blog is preliminary. Announced adjustments and features may change multiple times during testing. The final information will be published on our game's website. Alright, so it sounds like, well, they came out and said it. They're doing kind of step testing with the Borodino. They're going to try with a 28-second reload time, then a 30-second reload time, and see which one is most balanced. I'm assuming that's what they're doing with the rest of, like the Constellation, the Tiger 59, and the Druid as well. Because with the specialized repair teams, Druid can pretty much print a new ship right now. And if you haven't seen the Druid in battle being tested, she is pretty mental. And the Elbin got a buff. Her main battery reload time got increased to 7.1 seconds, which I think the new German DD split DDs most certainly do need that RPM buff for sure. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to our next dev blog. And this one came out today. PT 10.4 balance changes. So this is on the public test right now. In fact, my public test client is updating right now. The changes will be applied to Thunderer, Stalingrad, Flint, and other ships. Further changes will be made to Tiger 59. Having analyzed combat performance and taking player feedback into account, we've changed the characteristics of several ships, including special ships Thunderer and Stalingrad. These changes were required in order to carefully adjust the balance of the mentioned warships. As usual, monitor the impact of the changes in the general balance of the ships and apply changes if deemed necessary. Thunderer main battery firing range reduced from 23 to 21.5 kilometers. What'd I tell y'all? She's going to settle somewhere around 20-21 kilometers with her maximum range without the range module. Because, like I've said before, one of the biggest issues with Thunder is that she has 8 18-inch guns that can reload in 22-second space with the reload module, with her insane AP and her insane HE and her insane fire chance on her HE, and still have, used to a 23-kilometer main battery firing range, which was more than enough to hang in there at Tier 10. But now she's going to have a 21.5 kilometer main battery firing range unless you take the reload module, which you're still getting an incredibly fast reload time for her guns and how nuts her guns are. So more nerfs to Thunderer, and she definitely needs it in my opinion. And I do think this is where they'll probably stop around 21, maybe 20 kilometers, because again, the Thunder has a 12.5 kilometer detection range with a full stealth build. So she can still definitely get within 20 kilometers of her target, absolutely ruin their day, and still just leave because of her detection. So she should be fine. Alright, Stalingrad. Action time of their surveillance radar consumable reduced from 25 to 20 seconds. Stalingrad getting nerfed again. So they dropped her by 5 seconds before a couple weeks ago, and now they're dropping her by another 5 seconds on her radar time. And this is again because with the new commander skills and the new consumable module, her radar can last for, now only 40-ish seconds with this nerf. But still, 40-ish seconds on a 12-kilometer radar is pretty darn, awesome if you're on his team. Terrible if you're in a destroyer. So, I guess that's an alright change. I mean, Stalingrad, she's really only useful in competitive. In random battles, she's okay, but she's not the best there. But in competitive, she's really, really, really good. Alright. The Flints, our prayers have been answered. Main battery firing range increased from 11.1 to 11.9 kilometers. Main battery reload time increased from 4.9 to 5.1 seconds. So it looks like they're starting to buff the Flint to where she has actually decent range now. If you don't know, the Atlanta got her range increased to where she basically had the same range in her main battery guns as she did with the old captain skills and modules. But the Flint didn't get that buff when the commander skills changed. So you're stuck with an 11.1 kilometer firing range on a Tier 7 light cruiser with no heal, but she had smokescreen, and that was their excuse for not buffing the range. So it looks like they're starting to buff the range on the Flint, which is definitely needed. Alright, the Grazivori maximum damage of rechargeable torpedoes increased from 15,100 to 16,200. Probability of causing flooding increased from what the heck? 250 to 271%. What the heck? I think this is supposed to be 25% and 27.1% and not 271% chance of flooding. That's a bit nutty, and that's a bit Russian bias. But yeah, I think that's a typo. I like to think that's a typo at least. All right, the Z52 main battery reload time reduced from 4 to 3.8 seconds. So that's a free buff to Z52 with literally no other changes. Jutland torpedo tube reload time increased from 125 to 133 seconds. The Hysiang range of researchable torpedoes increased from 9.2 to 9.5 kilometers. Speed of researchable torpedoes increased from 56 to 59 knots. Chungmu range of base torpedoes increased from 9.2 to 9.5 kilometers. Speed of base torpedoes increased from 56 to 59 knots. The Finyang main battery reload time reduced from 5.2 to 4.9 seconds. Gustav Julius Marker main battery reload time reduced from 6.5 to 6.1 seconds. Felix Schultz, yeah, they're doing it to all the higher tier German DDs. Main battery reload time reduced from 7.8 to 7.4 seconds. Cleveland action times with the surveillance radar consumable reduced from 30 to 27 seconds. Leander smokescreen dispersion time with the smoke generator consumable reduced from 99 to 96 seconds. Main battery reloading time increased from 7.5 to 7.7 seconds. Fiji smokescreen dispersion of the smoke generator consumable reduced from 106 to 99 seconds. Main battery reload time increased from 7.5 to 7.7 seconds. Edinburgh smokescreen dispersion time, the smoke generator consumable reduced from 106 to 99 seconds. Good God. Tiring reading the same thing like 3 times back to back. Petropavlovsk main battery reload time increased from 13 to 13.5 seconds. So a little bit of a nerf there to the Petro. Nagato main battery reload time reduced from 30 to 29 seconds. Ooh. Conte di Cavour main battery reload time reduced from 31 to 30 seconds. Andreadoria maximum sap shell damage increased from 9,500 to 9,900. Francesco Carasilio Sigma parameters increased from 1.6 to 1.7. Vittorio Veneto Sigma parameters increased from 1.6 to 1.7. There they go, ladies and gents. They are buffing the Italian BBs, probably in response to the removal of Deadeye in 10.4. But looks like for now it's just the Francesco and the Vittorio, the Lepanto and the Colombo. I'm guessing they're going to have to wait and see because those are the Italian BBs with a high number of guns for their tier. But they do definitely need a bit of a buff either to their Sigma or to their dispersion to be able to hang in there after Deadeye leaves. We adjusted the parameters of Tiger 59 based on testing results. The main battery turrets can now rotate 360 degrees. Wow. Please note the information, yada yada yada, preliminary changes website. Okay, a lot of very small changes to a lot of ships. The Nagato got a reload boost, the Petro got a reload nerf, and the higher tier German DD split DDs, the Spark Cruisers, or however you say it, Spark Cruisers, got a bit of a reload buff, which is very good and what they definitely needed. Ideally what they would need would be like a hill in my opinion, but it looks like we're just getting these buffs for now. So overall, I think some pretty good changes, definitely with the nerfs to Thunderer and to Petro. Although, of course, Petro's thing isn't really her guns. Her problem is that she sits so low on the waterline, it's just so hard to deal with her. But I'm sure most of you will be fine with just some form of nerf to the Petropavlovsk. So yeah, interesting changes here, much needed buffs to the Italian battleships. And I guess we'll see where these changes take us in the game. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We are on our way now to 25,000 subs, just past 24,400 a few days ago, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you're all having a wonderful Friday. I also hope to catch you out on stream. I'll be streaming right here on the channel from 5 p.m. U.S. Central Time to 8 p.m. U.S. Central Time here on the channel and on Twitch, so please come out and join us for that. Again, guys, hope you're having a wonderful Friday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.